Welcome to All Things Possible TV. I'm excited to have you here with me. I'm Kris Barney, and this episode for this week is finding the gifts in your garbage. Now, most of you are going, what? How are there gifts in garbage? And are we like the landfill junkies, right? No. All of us have junk. All of us have things, trials, challenges, all kinds of things that we really feel like are garbage, holding us down, weighing us back, hard, difficult things that we consider our junk or our baggage, right? So today I have some baggage, some garbage, and we're going to find some gifts in those trials. And this isn't about how many trials I've had, how many challenges I've had, and how we've done it, but it's about you finding your challenges and digging deep inside yourself to see what you can find as the gifts in your challenges and find out how that can be and how you can change how you feel about something, how you think about it, and how it affects your life. So today you're going to need a paper and a pencil. So grab a paper and pen, whatever that looks like for you. You're going to take a few notes. You're going to answer a few questions. The first thing I want you to do is write finding the gifts in my garbage. Or in your garbage, right? But it's your garbage, your life, your things. And we're going to be able to find the things that you can learn how to be strengthened by rather than held back. Now, when I do this in a training, I usually spend about 45 minutes to an hour going through this process. So it's going to be a little bit of a jump in, get started, and go fast. So while you're getting that paper, I do want to invite you to my website. It's at www.allthingspossible.biz. Again, www.allthingspossible.biz. On my website, you will find several different things that I do. First, you can get my 7 traits for free. It's your gift, it's my gift to you, and I want you to be able to get that gift so that you can go through the traits and that you can change your own life by just living those traits. The other thing I want to tell you about, I only do this 4 times a year and I have it coming up, is my 7 steps to create all things possible in your life. It's an 8-week group mentoring program that comes with accountability. It comes with one-on-one calls with me, myself. It's not my team right now, it's with me, and I want to give you the opportunity to do that with me. It's starting again in a couple weeks, so you've got to jump on right now. It's actually going to be in a week by the time this is aired, so jump on right now if you're interested. It does come with a healing session package with Bill. You've seen his energy healing, my partner, my business partner, and I want you to be able to get that whole package. Right now, we're going to give you the sale price of $997. That's 8 weeks of 7 steps to move you forward. Now, we do this all the time with Skype and with digital, being able to send you the actual trainings and the homework, and then we have calls together. So I'm excited about that program, and I would like you to be able to gain that. So make sure that you check it out. It's written right here on the screen, and check it out because I would love to have you in that. I only have 2 spots open, so make sure and go on right now if you're interested in being in that with us. Now, let's get started for today. Hopefully you've gotten your paper and your pencil or pen or whatever that looks like for you. The first thing I want you to do is write finding the gifts in my garbage. And then I want you to write down 3 challenges or trials that you have faced in your life. The first one, I want you to write something about now. A current trial, a current thing you're struggling with right now. Whether it's not enough money, troubled teenagers, you're pregnant, don't want to be, like whatever that challenge is, going through a divorce, what is that for you? The second one I want you to do is a challenge that you had about 5 years ago. So something that that's behind you that you had in your life, but it's now done. So that you have, the first one is something now. The second one is a trial, the hardest trial you can think of 5 years ago. And the third one is a trial from your childhood or your teenage years. And be specific. That's our first section. So, those are the three I want you to write down. Hopefully, you have been able to write them down. Once you have written them down, I want you to think about them. I want you to really think deep inside of yourself, and I want you to come up with the feelings that you felt, especially the negative. The negative feelings for each one of these trials. So, on the now, are you angry? Possibly frustrated? Okay, could be overwhelmed. Okay, on the one 5 years ago, I want you to get in touch with which feelings you had then. What did you feel when you were going through that trial? Was it hurt? Was it, I mean, anger's a big one, but what did you feel? Jealousy, maybe? What are the feelings that you felt? And on the third one, I want in your childhood. So during your childhood or your teenage years, what was the negative feelings you were feeling during that trial? Now, a lot of times I get betrayed, bossed around. A lot of teenagers feel like they're bossed around. And lots of anger, sadness. What were the feelings that you felt during this childhood trial? So during your teenage years or your childhood, what was the feeling that you were having? I want you to feel those negative feelings, and I really want you to look at those and think about them and feel it. What did it feel like when you were going through that? Because that's what I consider is the garbage part. During our lives, we go through a lot of challenges, a lot of trials, and we're not exempt. No one is going to get out of here without going through some of it. And if you're like me, you're going to be blessed with lots of them, so you have lots of things to learn from, right? Well, I want to jump in and show you some of the things that I have. So, if it's okay with you, I'm going to just rip open my garbage bag here and start showing you some of the things that we got to deal with. The very first one that I want to show you is this beautiful gift right here. In my garbage, I got to have a lot of gifts. I got a lot of different things. But the garbage that this one represented for me was my twin brother's suicide. Now this is only going to be a few of the trials we've been through. I stuck a few of them up here. Maybe it was building a home or medical bills, 3 car accidents in 10 months that were not our fault. Someone else hit us. Okay, so my twin brother's suicide. That was huge, huge, huge trial for me. And struggle, oh, that was a really hard struggle. He was 33, and when he died, he left 4 kids and a wife. And of course, siblings and parents and grandparents. It was awful. The gift that I found, that I learned from him leaving, was that I had this opportunity to learn true forgiveness. My twin brother committing suicide pushed every button I had to forgive. Forgive him for doing it, forgive the situation, forgive what drove him to that. I had to learn true forgiveness. So that was one of the gifts I got to learn. And it's one of the things I got to gain, because now true forgiveness plays a big, huge part in my life. True forgiveness is huge for me. Let's see. Here's another one out of my bag. My bag of garbage is hard to get them out of here. Here we go. This one, I actually have several, because normally when I do this, I have a wagon and I get to pull the wagon and show you all of my garbage, because so many people like to bring their garbage and be like, see, look, feel bad for me, right? And I know there were times in my life that I did that. I wanted people to understand what I was going through and why life was so hard, why I was negative. But it really didn't make any difference for me, other than to make me sad and depressed and lonely, because people were in their own life. They were busy, they had trials too, and they wanted to be around the people that were happy. So in this one, oh, this has got a couple of them. This is a hysterectomy at 24 years old. So I'm 24, I'm delivering the third baby boy in 3.5 years, and I can't have the parts put back. I won't live through the night. That was a huge one for me, because I wasn't done. Now for some of you that are watching this are going, 3 kids? You wanted more than 3 kids? Well, I still wanted a daughter. I felt like I had a daughter out there, and now how was I going to get her, right? Because I had 3 healthy boys. So that became a big issue for me. So, hysterectomy at 24 years old. Well, the second trial on this page is adoption. Then we had to start through the adoption process. What I can tell you is that the adoption process is not easy when you have healthy children. So this one was very, very difficult. This was a lot of garbage, and it took a lot of years. 5 years of looking for my daughter before we got to adopt her. But we did find her. And the main gift that I found in adoption was gratitude to have my daughter, and to find her, and to know that we could handle it. This completed our family. So the hysterectomy and the adoption were both really, really hard trials. Yet we did receive a child. Someone else gave us a gift that we couldn't have for ourselves. Those are the things we need to look at when we start facing some of these trials. Okay, here's another one. Wow. 5 close deaths in 2 years. Now this was my brother, my cousin, my mother-in-law, a dear friend, and my grandfather. Within 2 years, all passed away, and it was very, very hard. Those of you who have had to deal with death, very painful, and it feels like garbage and junk. It's painful, it's hard, and that grieving process takes time. The gifts that I got from that, what I learned, was that life is fragile, and that we get to always show love, always. When you leave out the door, you make sure that everybody knows that you love them. You make sure that they know how you feel. The other one was that I got to trust my higher power. I got to trust in that, for me, which is God. For you, what is it? The universe? What do you believe in? How do you believe? And what is that for you? Because for me, it gave me great strength in my higher power, and to know that life is so fragile, and that we always get to make sure that people know how we feel. So that was one of the gifts. This isn't working as good as I wanted it to, because I wanted you to be able to see the gifts, but they're not standing up very good back here. But we'll just keep going. Okay, so this is another big one in my garbage bag, right? So here's my garbage, here's my junk. however that looks for you. And hopefully you did get these filled out. If not, make sure you're filling them out now. Wow, I have 3 of them on here because they all kind of go together. Again, when I'm doing this in a regular presentation or a breakout session, I actually have these on individual gifts. So 180 nights in the hospital in 11 months, a child with cancer, and the adopted daughter that I just got, her skull does not grow. We have to take her skull apart, take everything from the eye sockets off, make it bigger, and put it back on. Believe me, that was huge garbage for me. Like, it took me 5 years to find her, to get her, and then we have to start with surgery when she's not even 2. And I was already in the hospital with a son having brain tumors. Now, you've heard some of these stories, but those were 3 trials that were huge, huge, huge for a young family. So, this is what I learned. For my daughter's skull that was growing wrong, well, that wasn't growing, that's the problem, I got to forgive the situation. I got to gain belief and strength, because so many times things are not in our control. We can't control when we have a family member that's sick, or that chooses a bad choice, or causes a car accident, or is involved in a car accident that wasn't their fault. We cannot control those times. So we have to forgive the situation, because otherwise it holds us down. It becomes our garbage. We start packing it around. I mean, can you imagine packing garbage bags everywhere we go with all these things? Okay, if you can visualize this, you can start to see that it doesn't work like that. Our life becomes heavy, frustrating, overwhelming, depressing, and we are now no longer a contribution to society. So that was the thing I had to do, is forgive the situation. And I gained huge belief and strength in the medical field and in others. I gained huge gratitude for doctors when my son had cancer. Do you realize that those 2 children would not have been alive had they been born 20 years earlier? Neither one of them would have been saved. And yet, because of what we have in our society, the technology, the doctors, the education, my children were able to have their lives spared. So, huge gratitude for doctors and their knowledge. And I learned how powerful service can be, just how powerful that serving others can be. You've heard the story of the balloons and going and taking balloons. And if you haven't, you need to go back and find a few of the episodes, because I've told this story before. Huge, huge lesson on service. Service and gratitude became key that year of 180 nights in the hospital. So huge, huge lesson. Huge, huge lesson in service. Okay, so more garbage. Let's see. I have a couple of them on this one as well. Looks like, oh, fibromyalgia and neuropathy. I have both of those diseases. And do you know, I know a lot of people that have the same, either one. Don't know very many with both, but I do know some with fibro or with neuropathy, and I watch them as they shut down and they don't have fun, they don't enjoy life, and they're just overcome with grief and anger and frustration. They're feeling all these negative feelings. When I feel sorry for myself, when I start making a list of how I feel and the pain, I am miserable. But when I can do the things that I need to do and I can be grateful, I can move forward and I can have gratitude that I am able to function, that I'm able to do, and that I'm doing better. When I have gratitude for the situation and for my life, my fibro and my neuropathy do much better. I do not take regular medication. I do a lot of oils, I do a lot of herbs, but I don't live on medication. I don't believe in being on medication and being altered. A lot of medications make you numb. I like to feel. I like to feel happy. I like to have joy. I like to be involved. And when I'm on medication, I'm not. I'm not involved. I want to just be home, do my own thing, without anyone, in my own room, right? And that doesn't work. So, that was a huge trial for me. The other one that I have on here as my garbage is my husband has a huge head injury. During our year of 180 nights that we just talked about in the hospital in 11 months, believe it or not, the first weekend out of the hospital that we don't have a hospital stay, my husband has an accident on an ATV and gets a head injury over the 4th of July. It was unbelievable. 3 head things in 12 months. And he was not the same person for over 2 years. It created a lot of trials at our house. But what I learned, the gift I got out of this, was that I had a close family no matter what. We were living in a trailer, building a home at the time. We had just broken ground. I got to general the house. I got a big education on construction and an appreciation of what a lot of my family had done in the past. And I also learned how to have a good, true good attitude, even though there was lots of garbage. Now the reason that I tell you this one is because it is really easy to start getting hung up in our junk and feeling like, you know, poor me, let's have a pity party, and let's feel sorry for me. It's very easy to get into our stuff like that and to forget that we are at choice. How many times do we go, oh, I hate this, and it's like, or I don't. Okay, even I get hung up. And I've told you several times different stories about me, because what I want you to know is I'm real, I'm authentic, and I'm going to give you the way it is. So when I overdo it in the yard and can't move, I'm going to tell you about it. And I'm going to tell you the lesson I learned. Well, the lessons I learned from all of this is what's moved me forward to be where I am now, to be helping other people, to be teaching these kind of concepts, because ultimately I was on the couch, miserable, losing friends. No one wanted to be around me because I was so, you know, heavy with this baggage. Can you imagine all of this? Most of these were at the same time. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so we talked about the 5 close deaths. I'm trying to get all my little packages back up here so you guys can see just how much garbage can be, how many gifts you can come up with out of your garbage. All right, so this little one we have here, we talked about the 5 close deaths, and we talked about how we could trust our higher power. And our last one that I have is adult children choosing a different path, or choosing to not do what you taught them, or however that looks for you. For me, that looks very different right now, especially if you have been watching the episodes. You know that my daughter just left the country completely. She is in Nepal, 19, almost 20, and totally left on her own. One-way ticket, and she is completely gone. She's been gone 2 weeks now, and she's had a fever for many days. She's been sick. She hasn't stayed to her itinerary. We have very little communication. She has gone to find herself and to live a completely different belief system and a different way of life than what I believe and what I do. But we get to love them through it. So what I have learned from my children choosing adult choices for themselves, you know, and having that opportunity to make their choices, is I have learned true unconditional love. I also have a son who lives a gay lifestyle. We are going to have some episodes that really help teach about unconditional love during this, because what I found is lots and lots of families go into judgment and go into a lot of different negative feelings than love. And these families are separated. A lot of his friends and his close relationships have come and stayed close to our family because we've loved them through it, and we've loved them anyway. And it's something that I struggled, I'll be completely honest. It wasn't in my belief system, and I didn't understand it. And he was this good-looking guy, and I was just like, what? But I get to share him with you he's coming in town and we're doing some stuff together. So you'll get to see him. I love my son, and I am completely at ease with his choices. They're not the choices I would choose. It's not my belief system, but I love him anyway. He is phenomenal. And so is my daughter. She has got so much courage to go all by herself, not knowing the language, not knowing that there's a safety net. She is out there living her dream and making a difference for people, serving people in a different country. So find the unconditional love, find the balance. So as you can see, our pile of garbage has become a pile of gifts. And when we can find the gifts in our life, the lessons we are learning, we will be happy. So on your paper, I want you to go to the bottom part, and I'm going to have to get down a little bit shorter so that you guys I can write. Right here, I want you to write what you have learned or what you are learning. So, number 1 for now, what are you learning? Is it patience? Is it understanding? Is it unconditional love? Number 2, 4, 5 years ago. What did you learn? I just went through this whole process of telling you what I learned from my garbage. What are the positive traits you have learned because of it? Are you getting knowledge? Okay, and number 3, your childhood or teenage trial. What did you learn? Why are you stronger now because of that? With my teenagers, I learned unconditional love like none other. And I had great teenagers. All 4 of my children got very good grades, were phenomenal at their school, very involved, and did some great things. And they also learned some huge lessons. Some of my dearest friends laugh and say, do you remember that day that you caught your one son in the car wash with mud all over his Jeep and said, hey, where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm just heading out of the school. Yeah, caught him big time. Red-handed, I pull up in front of the car wash stall and I'm sitting there and I'm like, so, like, where are you at? Really? Really? You're just leaving the school, huh? And I pull my car right up and he's like, no. I would be in the car wash washing my Jeep off because we went in the field and went mudding instead of at school. What I want you to know is that if you will look at your trials and find the gift, when you can find the gifts you're learning and the gifts that have changed your life, you will then value all those things that you got to learn from. You'll value the opportunity to have good health when your health isn't good. You'll value your lives of your kids being saved because doctors have the knowledge rather than, oh my gosh, here we go again with cancer, right? We've faced cancer more than once, and this last week we've even had a big scare. But we aren't letting it get us down. We're not letting it stop us because that is not who we are, and that does not serve us. So find the gifts in your garbage. If you will look, you will find it. There are many times that we get so focused on the negative that we forget to even consider that there's something else. And what I can tell you is there is always a gift in everything you learn. There's a gift if you look for it. Thank you for joining me today. I love having you here on All Things Possible TV. There's 30 episodes up. Go and listen to these. This is free information. It's trainings that we teach on a regular basis that we get paid for. But I want you to be able to have the knowledge. I want you to have just incredible life and know that all things are possible for you. You can do whatever you put your mind to. If you will have a good attitude and you will believe in it and take action and live the things that you're learning, you'll move forward. Go to the website and get your All Things Possible, and also get your 30-minute strategy session with me. go ahead and email me. You can find all of that from the website at allthingspossible.biz. Again, allthingspossible.biz. Thanks for being here today. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time on All Things Possible TV. Thank you.